Am I recording? Hello again, it's me Chaz back with another video, and this is my OFC match day 3 round 2 review. And we now know the 4 teams who are going to play in the knockout rounds of the OFC World Cup qualifiers. Those 4 nations are New Caledonia, Tahiti, New Zealand, and Fiji. New Caledonia and New Zealand qualified last week, back on match day 2, and now Tahiti and Fiji has joined them. How did Tahiti and Fiji join them? Fiji drew 1-1 with New Caledonia in Group A. Fiji just needed a point to qualify, and if they did win, they would have been top of Group A. Unfortunately, they couldn't defeat New Caledonia, but as mentioned, a point was enough. 1-1 draw. Fiji were leading 1-0. Roy Krishna scored a penalty for Fiji. It's a poor penalty given away. And that is Roy Krishna's 3rd goal in qualifying now. He scored in all 3 of Fiji's games, including the winner against Solomon Islands. A penalty was scored late on in the first half, 4 minutes into extra time. But in the second half, Chris Chawa scored, making it 1-1. Fiji goalkeeper Jeremy Nairayan kept Fiji in the game. Some really good saves from him. Kept it 1-1. Both teams qualified. New Caledonia topped the group first with 7 points and Fiji second with 5 points. Let's move on to the next game. Because the game between New Caledonia and Fiji was played before the match between Papua New Guinea and Solomon Islands, this match there was nothing on the line. Papua New Guinea lost this game. Solomon Islands defeated them 2-1. Goals from David and Lealauf. David in the first half on the 41st minute, and Lealauf in the second half on the 68th minute. Had Solomon Islands leading 2-0. Semi managed to get a consolation goal for Papua New Guinea, making it 2-1. The game finished this way. Solomon Islands managed to move up to 3rd, while Papua New Guinea 4th. Both of these nations are now eliminated from the World Cup qualifiers. Disappointing showing for both teams, especially Papua New Guinea. The game against Fiji, that late equaliser really affected them, made it so much harder work for them, and it wasn't in their hands anymore to qualify. Also, both games in Group A were played in Papua New Guinea, so disappointing to the home crowd as well. So, New Caledonia, because they topped the group, they go up against the runners-up of Group B, and that was Tahiti. And Fiji, as the runners-up of Group A, they go up against the winners of Group B, and that was New Zealand. And now we move on to Group B. Head-to-head clash between Tahiti and Vanuatu. Tahiti was 2nd and Vanuatu were 3rd in the group. Vanuatu needed to win this game to qualify. Tahiti, on the other hand, just didn't need to lose this match. And what they did was defeat Vanuatu 2-0. Started poor for Vanuatu early on. Spocky Jack scored an own goal, making it 1-0 for Tahiti in the first half. And late on in the second half, a penalty keeper's mistake took down the player. And Maton scored penalty. That's his 2nd goal now for Tahiti in the qualifiers. And that's 2-0 to Tahiti, which made them qualify for the next round. And Vanuatu, after that heavy defeat to New Zealand, they couldn't bounce back, and they are now out the World Cup qualifiers. Tahiti, on the other hand, will go up against New Caledonia in the knockout round. And the final match between New Zealand and Samoa, and New Zealand scored another 8 goals in this game. They defeated Samoa 8-0. And for a good 20 minutes, Samoa were able to not let a goal in, but on the 24th minute, Makowat scored after a rebound shot, and that opened up the floodgates. Woods would score in the 28th minute and the 34th minute, making it 3-0 in the first half. He completed his hat-trick in the second half, scoring in the 60th minute, making it 4-0 to New Zealand, and also makes him the current top scorer in the OFC. Starmanik, 2 minutes later, made it 5-0. DeVries made it 6-0. Just got his 3rd goal in qualifiers, taking it to 7-0. And finally, Wayne late on got a penalty. Darius won the penalty. Wayne scored it. And that's 8-0 for New Zealand. That's 16 goals in 2 games. And no surprise, New Zealand looking extremely dominant in this region. New Zealand will take on Fiji next. And as you can see on the table, New Zealand top with maximum points, winning all 3 of their games. Tahiti 2nd. Vanuatu 3rd with 3 points. And finally, Samoa at the bottom, losing all 3 of their games with 0 points. Samoa was the team that did qualify to round 2 after winning in round 1's knockout phase. So let's look at those games again. For round 3, the knockout game, New Caledonia against Tahiti. New Zealand will play Fiji. Both games will take place in New Zealand as well as the final. Wellington Regional Stadium, Sky Stadium, is where both semi-finals will be played. March next year, March the 21st, is the date these games will take place. And the winners of those 2 games will go through to the final. And then, still in March, the winner of that game will qualify for the World Cup and will be the OFC's representative at the World Cup. The loser of that final will still have one more chance through the Interconfederations playoff. And unfortunately, because of where all 4 of these teams are placed in the FIFA rankings, they would have to play 2 games if they are going to qualify for the World Cup in 2026. Alright, I'm just going to say a little more things because this is the last time the teams in the OFC are going to play this year, at least for the World Cup qualifiers. I don't think there's going to be any more friendlies anyway this year. It's not surprising that New Zealand were able to win their group very strongly. But in the knockout rounds, it only takes 1 game. There's a chance. I do believe that New Zealand will be the team that will qualify for the World Cup in 2026 from this region. And unfortunately, I don't think the team that do end up losing to New Zealand in the final, which I do predict, but anything could happen, it's going to be even harder for them to qualify if they go through to the Interconfederation playoffs, because there's going to be stronger teams from the other regions. But I still like this concept, and I've been enjoying doing these reviews on the OFC. Been introduced to some countries I've only recently just heard about. Good luck to the 4 teams that qualified, and unlucky for the 4 that haven't made it. We'll see if they could make it at the next World Cup after 2026. Alright, this is probably my last video of the OFC this year. Well, like I said, it's been fun. Anyway, thanks for watching, listening. I hope you enjoyed it. And bye.